afternoon, Angelika.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon, Facebook and YouTube.
Excellent. Sorry for the delay. We had one or two, or I had one or two problems. Angelika obviously set up straight away. She's the professional. I'm just busking it. But we've got everything actually working. I've given the game away a bit, but where are we today, Angelika?
Well, we are today in Wittenberg. I was looking for a place beginning with W because we've almost finished our alphabet. And I haven't been to Wittenberg. I think my brother has, or both of them possibly, I don't know. So I did a bit of research. Technically speaking, I shouldn't have chosen Wittenberg for a town to start with the letter W, but you find out later on why.
Okay. We say hello to Chris, who's saying hello to us. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Guten Tag. Right. Okay. Now, the way this works is Angelika has just said that we're actually visiting Wittenberg. Get the pronunciation of it. And Angelika, thank you. Angelika's put together 9 sentences, I think, in German with their English translations. I'm going to read them. Angelika will correct my pronunciation, and then we'll translate them together. Now, if you want to read the sentences as I put them on screen in German, then please do. We can't hear you. Nobody else can hear you. And it's good practice. And we'll explain, or Angelika will explain, each sentence as we actually go through. So as you know where you are now, I'm going to move that card off the screen and just go with Angelika and I. And I'm going to say an official welcome to the show. And this is Ask Angelika Visits Wittenberg. And the first phrase today is: Wittenberg ist eine Stadt in Sachsen-Anhalt.
Yeah. Wittenberg ist eine Stadt in Sachsen-Anhalt. So,
no, Wittenberg would say outside Germany, yes? Or would we say Wittenberg?
That's fine. No, that's fine.
I'll keep with a V, I think. Wittenberg is a town in Saxony.
Yeah.
Which part of Saxony?
Well, no, Saxony-Anhalt. That is the state.
Right. Okay. So let's go with the translation. And translation is Wittenberg is a town in Saxony-Anhalt. And the second phrase. Now, I don't practice these beforehand. You're about to find out. Die Stadt liegt an der Elbe, etwa 70 Kilometer von Leipzig entfernt.
Yeah, apart from the second town. Die Stadt liegt an der Elbe, yeah, etwa 70 Kilometer von Leipzig entfernt.
Okay, so hopefully you've read that out as I read it out, and Angelika corrected us all. The town lies on the River Elbe and is about 70 kilometers away from Leipzig. Yeah,
so in the eastern part of Germany.
Okay, so the translation is, I'm going to scroll down a bit so I can see the rest of them. The town lies on the Elbe, about 70 kilometers from Leipzig. Okay, phrase number 3. Die Stadt blickt auf eine lange Geschichte zurück.
Die Stadt blickt auf eine lange Geschichte zurück.
This practice that I do every other Thursday evening is paying off, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, yeah, I take lessons with Angelika and two of my friends. We do it every 2 weeks. And as you can tell, the lesson was last night, so it's fresh in the memory. Right, okay. All of which gave me time to actually think about what the translation is.
Oh, you were stalling, were you?
Yeah, yeah. The town blickt. I don't know blickt.
Zurückblicken is to look back.
Ah, right. The town has a long history, looks back on a long history.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, we won't cover the whole history. I didn't even read all of it. There is a lot. Anybody wants to read up on it, it's well worth it.
So, phrase 3 translates to the town looks back on a long history. Okay. And phrase 4. You always put numbers in, don't you?
Yeah.
1996 wurden 4 Gebäude in Wittenberg zum UNESCO Weltkultur. Well, let me take a run at this. Weltkulturerbe ernannt.
It's always difficult if you don't recognize the word. I mean, I always say break it up.
Yeah.
But if you don't know where to put the break, that makes it.
It's 3 words.
It's 3, yeah.
So Weltkulturerbe.
Erbe, yeah.
Okay.
So your number was good. 1996 wurden 4 Gebäude in Wittenberg zum, we pronounce it as if it was a German word, so UNESCO Weltkulturerbe ernannt.
UNESCO. Right. Okay. Let's take a go before we. Let me think again while Chris makes a comment. I'm Historian, so I know why. Okay. So let's try and find out where we were. And okay, found it. I like the new agenda on BeLive. Right, so in 1996, UNESCO World Culture Site was made a UNESCO World Culture Site for.
Gebäude is buildings.
All right. So in 1996, 4 buildings in Wittenberg became UNESCO World Culture Sites.
Yeah, although we call them World Heritage Sites.
World Heritage Sites.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about to find out why and which ones. So
Not so much why, but we will find out which ones.
Okay. First translation: in 1996, 4 buildings in Wittenberg were designated UNESCO, I'm going to say this time, World Heritage Sites. Okay, phrase 5. Oh, just a minute. Das älteste Gebäude der Stadt ist die Stadtkirche St. Marien. Sorry?
Sankt Marien.
I've been listening to Chris. That's my problem. St. Marien, die 1187 das erste Mal urkundlich erwähnt wurde. Now, of course, that's displayed perfectly on the screen, but I can't. I'm struggling. Right. Okay.
It's okay. Das älteste Gebäude. It wasn't one of the easy sentences either. Das älteste Gebäude der Stadt ist die Stadtkirche St. Marien, die 1187 das erste Mal urkundlich erwähnt wurde.
See, I'm trying to get close enough to the screen to actually read it. Okay, let's try and translate it. The oldest building in the city, in a town, is the town church, is St. Marien, which is the town church, built in 1187. No, for the first time in 1187. Urkundlich erwähnt wurde.
Yeah.
Nope.
Urkunde is an official document, so, and erwähnen is to mention. So it was mentioned first time mentioned in a document or in an official document.
Right. So it's sort of like the Domesday Book in the UK, or the Domesday Book.
Oh yeah, and any official document rather than a piece of scrap paper.
Okay. So let's get the official English translation, which was somewhat shorter. Oh no, it's not.
No, it isn't.
The oldest building in the town is the town church of St. Mary, which was first mentioned in a document in 1187. Right, okay. That's a contestant for the longest sentence we've had on Ask Angelika, but I think that you might not when you see this one. Okay. Oh, it is shorter. Okay, I can actually see it. Phrase 6. Die andere Standorte sind die Schlosskirche, das Lutherhaus und das Melanchthonhaus.
Melanchthon. And then house, yeah. It's a name.
Oh, right.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Die anderen Standorte sind die Schlosskirche, das Lutherhaus und das Melanchthonhaus.
Right. The other, well, we can say from last sentence, the other buildings.
Yeah, or sites. Standort is a site of something, but you're right. In this case, there would have been buildings.
Okay. Are there proper names? Schlosskirche. I know Lutherhaus.
Well, Lutherhaus and Melanchthonhaus, both of them are houses named after people. So Luther and Melanchthon. Schlosskirche, you can translate literally.
Well, I would if I could.
Kirche?
Church.
Yeah, und Schloss?
My mind's gone blank on this one.
Castle.
Well, sorry?
Castle. So it was a castle.
Right. Church in the castle. Okay, let's get the official translation then. And translation number 6, the other sites are the Castle Church, the Luther, we'd say Lutherhaus, and the Melanchthon House. Okay.
Oh, we got another long one.
Sorry. Oh, it's all right. It's okay.
Oh, they don't look too bad on the screen. It's only the other one that looked really small on the screen.
It was small. It was, yeah. So, yeah. But just shows how much information we pack into these Ask Angelika shows. 31, because it's got the full stop after it.
Well done.
Thank you. October 1517 Nagelte Martin Luther 95 Thesen an die Tor Schlosskirche.
Am 31. Oktober 1517 nagelte, so the emphasis is on the first syllable, nagelte Martin Luther 95 Thesen an die Tür der Schlosskirche.
Okay, so let's do a translation, Chris. On the 31st October 1517, we've got the Castle Church, we've got the door of the church, we've got Martin Luther. So Martin Luther wrote 95 sentences.
Well, they're called the 95 Theses, but they were basically sentences, yes.
Right, because this is a famous incident, isn't it?
Yes.
For many people. He
wrote them, but he didn't write them onto the door.
Oh.
He nailed his writing onto the door. Nageln is to nail.
Right. Okay. So he nailed. We'll get the official translation, then we'll know. Okay, and on 31st October 1517, Martin Luther nailed 95 theses onto the door of the Castle Church.
And if you do that, you can read all 95 of them. Yeah, in German and in English.
Yeah. Is Wittenberg where Lutheranism actually began? Lutheranism.
Well, that's where the thesis went on, yes. Wait till the next sentence.
Okay, let's go for the next sentence then. Sentence 8. Seit 1900 und Leipzig heißt Wittenberg amtlich Lutherstadt Wittenberg.
So seit 1938 heißt Wittenberg amtlich Lutherstadt Wittenberg. Because you were absolutely right. That's where it started.
Since 1938, Wittenberg has been called Lutherstadt Wittenberg.
Yeah, and amtlich means officially.
Officially.
As a slight comparison I thought about earlier on, we've got a place in Wiltshire called Wootton Bassett.
We have, yes.
And since, I don't know how long ago now, it's been a few years, it has been changed to Royal Wootton Bassett.
Indeed,
and that's official change. It's not that the people decided to call it, we plonk a royal in front of it. It's an official change. And this is similar. And that's why I said at the beginning of the show, technically speaking, Wittenberg should have been covered when we did the letter L.
Oh, okay. I see now, I understand. Okay, and the translation is, since 1938, Wittenberg has officially been called Lutherstadt Wittenberg. I'm just saying Lutherstadt, so I actually remember how to pronounce it when I see it again in the next sentence. Okay. Phrase 9. In der Lutherstadt Wittenberg sind nur etwa 10% der Menschen evangelisch.
Ja, in der Lutherstadt Wittenberg sind nur etwa 10% der Menschen evangelisch. This sentence has really surprised me.
What surprises me too in translating it. In Lutherstadt Wittenberg, only about 10% of the people are Anglican.
Or Protestant, yeah.
Protestant.
Yeah. Or even more precise, Lutheran, if you want to go that far.
Okay.
This came out in the last census in 10 years ago. That seems very strange.
It does, given that, as we just heard, it was the birth of that particular religion. In Lutherstadt Wittenberg, only about 10% of the people are Protestant. So there you have it. We're not just learning about German, we're learning about Germany, and we're learning about Luther, and we're learning about Lutherstadt Wittenberg. And
I have to say, so am I. I mean, I'm not the learning German bit, but certainly the learning bit about German towns and history and things like this has been quite interesting for me as well.
Right, now, you've heard me mangle the German sentences. At the end of the broadcast, what we actually do is Angelika will read them out in perfect German, and then I'll read the translations in almost perfect English. So let's rewind as we go through the 9 sentences again, and we'll start off with, obviously, sentence 1 when I can find it. So, Angelika, it's over to you.
Wittenberg ist eine Stadt in Sachsen-Anhalt.
Wittenberg is a town in Saxony-Anhalt.
Die Stadt liegt an der Elbe, etwa 70 Kilometer von Leipzig entfernt.
The town lies on the Elbe, about 70 kilometers from Leipzig.
Die Stadt blickt auf eine lange Geschichte zurück.
Translates to, the town looks back on a long history. So it's been around a bit, as we say. Nearly as old as devices.
1996 wurden 4 Gebäude in Wittenberg zum UNESCO-Weltkulturerbe ernannt.
Translation. In 1996, 4 buildings in Wittenberg were designated UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Phrase 5.
Das älteste Gebäude in der Stadt ist die Stadtkirche St. Marien, die 1187 das erste Mal urkundlich erwähnt wurde.
Read the English? No, I'll read the English. I'll try my best anyway. The oldest building in town is the town church of St. Mary, which was first mentioned in a document in 1187. And next sentence.
Die anderen Standorte sind die Schlosskirche, das Lutherhaus und das Melanchthonhaus.
Translation. The other sites, the UNESCO sites, are the Castle Church, the Lutherhaus, and the Melanchthon House. Okay, I'm going to start worrying if you actually correct my English. Over you.
I wouldn't dare. Am 31. Oktober 1517 nagelte Martin Luther 95 Thesen an die Tür der Schlosskirche.
Doing well with the numbers this week, I have to say. On 31st October 1517, Martin Luther nailed 95 theses onto the door of the Castle Church. Phrase 8.
Seit 1938 heißt Wittenberg amtlich Lutherstadt Wittenberg.
Which translates to, since 1938, Wittenberg has been officially been called Lutherstadt Wittenberg. Phrase 9.
In der Lutherstadt Wittenberg sind nur etwa 10% der Menschen evangelisch.
Okay, and the translation of the final sentence in today's adventure to Wittenberg is, in Lutherstadt Wittenberg, only about 10% of people are Protestant.
I wonder if it's different in the new census when that gets filled in, whether there might be a change, but I probably won't be much of a difference.
But his message travelled out around the world, even in those early days, over to England, and Henry VIII, I think, was our king at the time.
I think so, yeah.
Right, I've been waiting all broadcast to ask this question. W, where we're going next, Angelika?
Well, what comes after W?
In my alphabet, X.
Yeah, well, then we're going to a place with X.
You're going to find a place in Germany that begins with X.
Oh, yeah, I know of at least one, but I'm going to have a look and see whether there are actually more than one. Otherwise, we go to that one. We probably will go to that one because the one I'm thinking of is also the twin town of Salisbury.
The picture behind me is Wittenberg. So that gives you an idea of what the town actually looks like. And I'm just so impressed. My green screen is holding up. Angelika, it's over to you to close today's broadcast.
Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed finding out a few things about Wittenberg. As I said, in 2 weeks' time, most likely we're going to Xanten, but I may still change my mind. I don't know yet. So that's in 2 weeks' time. Until then, it's tschüss von mir.
Und tschüss von mir. Bis nächstes Mal.